What can you tell us about this? Are you familiar with the state of play here?
Yeah, well, negotiations went through the night. Leader McConnell has been very clear with all of us is that we're going to pass some kind of stimulus relief package before we go home for the holidays. So I'm optimistic. We're going to see a package announced this morning, most likely. And as you articulated, it would exclude the state and local government relief. And the reason that the Republicans would oppose to that is we don't want to see relief going to states that already had fiscal problems prior to COVID. We want to make sure everything we're doing is targeted on the COVID challenge. It also would not have the liability protection. That's something I support. We need that. I don't want to see a trial lawyer pandemic. That's what's going on across our country. We need to make sure we protect our businesses and our schools from the trial lawyers. But I'm cautiously optimistic we're going to see this $900 billion package released today, and this will likely get passed before we go home this weekend.
Just to put some specifics to it, this would include direct payments. So this is effectively just $900 billion of straight direct payments. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, it would have, first of all, one of the most successful parts of the package we passed back in March was the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, that helps our small businesses ensure they keep people on the payroll. So there's about $300 billion that's part of PPP. You've got relief for hospitals, for frontline healthcare workers and heroes that are out there. We also have additional resources to accelerate the distribution of the vaccine. We have dollars in there for continued testing. So we got to stay focused here on how we bring an end to the pandemic. And that is ultimately going to be through the vaccine. And what the news we've had from Pfizer, the news we were hearing from Moderna, the vaccine news is really the Christmas present to the nation. That's the best news we've heard here in a long time. That's why I'm confident we're going to put an end to this pandemic by sometime probably the spring, summer of next year.
And just to also better understand what's in this bill at this point, as you said, no liability protection. That's something that you wanted. That I don't know if it was not a bipartisan issue because I think Democrats were anxious on the other side. But then, of course, the Democrats were pushing for some of the help for the states and cities, and that's something that you didn't want. Is that where the compromise, if you will, has come?
Yeah, it has. The liability protection we think is very important. I'm a chemical engineer by degree. I'm not an attorney. We don't need to see a trial lawyer pandemic. And so we want to have protections so we don't have this outbreak of lawsuits, which could be a real headwind to the continued rebound of this economy. So that has been clearly a very partisan kind of fight. Our Democrat colleagues want to do not include these liability protections. Republicans want to see them in it. And then on the state and local government, again, we want to make sure this package is targeted. We don't want to see taxpayer dollars going to bail out states that already had financial problems prior to COVID. So that's really been the partisan divide. That's been now taken out of this $900 billion package. And that's why, because those two pieces have been taken out, there's a path towards a bipartisan agreement. And I'll tell you, I think we're going to see this probably get passed before the weekend.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.